Okay, so if you've been subscribed to me for a while now, then you'll know how I am. If a movie comes out that is based off a book or a game or something, normally I have not read said book or played said game. I've never played World of Warcraft in my life or any Ratchet & Clank game. I haven't read A Monster Calls. I haven't read Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I'm not big on reading. I'm just not. Meet the exception. The Glass Castle. They finally made this movie. So The Glass Castle is based off the beloved memoir by MSNBC.com reporter Jeanette Walls. And yeah, like I said, I'm not big on reading, but I think I picked up this book when I was in like middle school. The first time I read it, I think it was for like a book report or something, but I loved it so damn much that it stuck around in my head, and I've read it twice more since then. I've read this book 3 times, and I'm pretty sure I'm about to read it a 4th time. This book is really good. So when I heard that Lionsgate is finally making a movie out of this book, I was like, it's about damn time. And at first it was going to be Jennifer Lawrence playing Jeanette Walls, but I guess it fell through, so now we have Brie Larson playing Jeanette Walls as an adult. The book revolves around her growing up with her nomadic family. By nomadic, I really do mean that they were moving from place to place as these kids were growing up. Jeanette had 2 sisters and a brother, Lori, Maureen, and Brian. And not only that, but they had to grow up with their parents who are some real characters. Naomi Watts plays Rosemary Walls, the mother. She's an artist, she's eccentric, but Rex Walls, the father, is played by Woody Harrelson in this film brilliantly. Woody Harrelson just continues to amaze me this year. I loved him in War for the Planet of the Apes, and I loved him in this movie. Because Rex Walls was a really interesting human being. He was a drunk, like he had an alcohol addiction, but he had a certain philosophy of life. Like he was one of those guys who he just had life all figured out. And he wanted to pass his wisdom to his kids. And his wisdom is, yeah, life is not fair. You gotta just dive headfirst into it. Where's your sense of adventure, kiddo? There's a scene, the scene is in the trailer where the family's in their car, they're moving from place to place, and Jeanette says to her father that she thinks that she and her siblings should go to a real school. And right when she says that, Rex just steers his car off the road and they just go off-road. They're in the middle of like a desert. And they stay in the desert and they camp there for the night. He's like, this is as real as it gets. I'm like, yeah. That nails the vibe of the book really well. This movie does do a really good job at nailing the vibe of the book, from what I remember anyways. I will admit it's been a while since the last time I read it, but yeah, the Walls family is not a traditional family. They don't play by the rules, and I really love seeing that. And it is one of those things where certain things would happen in the movie, I would be like, oh yeah, that's right, I remember that from the book, I remember that from the book. I do want to give all sorts of props to the child actress Ella Anderson. She played a younger version of Jeanette Walls that was used in the flashbacks, and I thought she was really, really good. She nailed the emotional parts very well. Very believable. I want to see her get more work. She and Woody Harrelson are like the 2 actors that I really remember from this film. Which brings me over to Brie Larson. See, this movie does something where the flashbacks of her as a kid growing up, I really loved watching those, but every now and then it'll go to present day, or at least her as an adult. It's actually 1989, so not present day. But the movie starts out with Brie Larson, and there's a scene with her, and then it goes back to when she was a kid, and then it goes to Brie Larson, and then when she was a kid. And I'm like, alright, it's doing the Deadpool thing where it's going back and forth and back and forth. And at first I was like, I'm not a huge fan of these Brie Larson scenes, if I'm being completely honest. It might be because I don't really remember reading those parts. I remember reading about when she was a kid, and it just went linear like that. It started when well, there was a prologue in the beginning of the book. The prologue is her as an adult, and then it goes to when she was a kid, and from there, it's when she was a kid on through when she's an adult. In the movie, it starts when she's an adult to do the prologue, and then it goes to her being a kid, and then it goes to her being an adult again, and a kid, and adult, and I wasn't really a fan of that at first, but then the flashbacks caught up to her being an adult and being Brie Larson, and from there, it was smooth sailing. But yeah, I gotta admit, it was a little choppy in the beginning. And the ending, I gotta admit, was a little cheesy. Like the last 5-10 minutes, I would say. The movie ends like the book does, with a certain event, and that event was kind of breezed over. I kind of wish they'd taken more time and actually delved deeper into that event, and the movie kind of ended with this pretty kind of cheesy moment, I'm not gonna lie. Brie Larson was good as Jeanette Walls, but she really has yet to blow me away. And yeah, that's me saying that I have not seen the movie she won an Oscar for. I should probably watch it before I see her as Captain Marvel. But yeah, in the end, The Glass Castle did a great job at reminding me of what I love about the book. It was a little choppy in the beginning, but I loved the flashbacks through and through. I loved the acting. Naomi Watts and Brie Larson, they were good, but Ella Anderson and Woody Harrelson, they were great. The score was really good too. And this movie being like a biopic picture, the score's not gonna be anything really special. It's gonna be kind of the same, you know, well, not sappy, but slow, dramatic piano stuff that you would expect in a movie like this. But what can I say? It really worked. In the end, if you love the book, you'll like this movie. If you haven't read the book, go read the book. And this is coming from someone who, like I said, is not big on reading. I'm just not big on reading, but I love the hell out of that book. It is that good. I've read Deathly Hallows twice. I've read The Glass Castle 3 times. It's just how it is. So for the Glass Castle movie, I will say, go see this movie while it's in theaters. I really wonder what this movie would have been like if Jennifer Lawrence had stuck around. I guess we'll never know. So the Glass Castle movie, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Or the book, have you read it? What do you think about it? Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe.